Hello, this is Tane and welcome to my channel. Last week I did a video on how you can set up your online store with Shopify in less than 10 minutes. While I was making that video, I was constantly noticing things that the product was doing really well or could be improved in terms of first-time user experience. So I thought it would be kind of nice to make a video about the same and share my perspective with you all. In this video, I am going to tear down Shopify. So let's jump right in. After signing up on Shopify, there are two steps that you need to complete before you can get inside the product. The first step is knowing about you and your business. Here you need to answer 5 to 10 questions depending on what options you choose. This is not a mandatory step and you can skip it. The second step is about adding your business address and phone number, and this is a mandatory step. So I'll just go back to the previous step and show you a couple of things that Shopify is doing really well. First, understanding the motivation of your users by asking these questions and communicating that they'll help you get started once you sign up. I'll tell you in a while why I did this. This is indeed comforting for someone who's new to the product and has never set up something like this. And second, they did not force me to verify my email and deferred the whole email verification process. This just ensures that I do not leave the product while I'm in the middle of completing my onboarding process. When Chargebee, a subscription management platform, did a similar experiment for their own product, they almost saw an increase of 100% in their signups, which is huge. While this might increase the volume of your signups, you need to be aware of the fact that this can dramatically reduce the quality of your signups. I feel that Shopify has done a really good job in terms of adding friction by asking more information about your business to qualify their leads and improve user engagement, while at the same time ensuring that I do not leave the product when I'm in the middle of this flow. Now, the second step where they ask for the business address, which might as well be someone's home address, is where I really felt wasn't done at the right place, and making it mandatory just made it worse. In a world where users are extremely conscious about sharing such information with software products, it might turn away a lot of users because they still haven't seen the value that product offers. If I was just exploring the product, I might not be very comfortable sharing this information right away. This is almost like Amazon asking me for my address and phone number before even I have decided that I want to buy something from Amazon or not. The product first needs to earn the trust of its users, give them their first aha moment, and then ask them to make a commitment like this. If the address was indeed necessary for Shopify to let someone start an online store, what they could rather do is that make this step optional right now and then only make it mandatory when the user was ready to put in their credit card details, buy the subscription, and launch their online store. Once I'm inside the product, the interface looks clean and aesthetically pleasing, but you'll immediately notice that there are 3 call to actions that ask for users' attention. According to Hicks' law of UX, the more choices you present to the user, the more time they will take to make a decision, and that will hinder the user's ability to complete their onboarding flow quickly. As I set up my online store, I imagine that adding products would be the first logical step for me to complete. So I should be presented with an interface that only focuses on helping me add new products. Now I understand that asking users to select a plan is critical because they would love to convert maximum users as quickly as possible. But this option should be introduced to them only when their intent of purchasing a subscription is the highest, which is right after they have completed their onboarding, they have set up their store and ready to launch it online. As I scroll down inside the dashboard, I see that there is a clear lack of visual hierarchy and a lot of information is being presented to me. This creates 3 problems for me. 1, it increases the cognitive load of processing this information. 2, it deviates me from following my onboarding flow. And 3, there is information present which might not be relevant for me at all at this point in time. For example, tipping at checkout is now available for your online store. This means nothing for a new user who does not even have an online store yet. This could be improved by chunking the information into logical groups. In this case, it could be help content and new feature announcements, and all of that information should be presented to me in a contextual manner. For example, help content should be presented to me based on the stage of product that I am in and the amount of time that I have spent with the product. As a general rule of thumb, while designing an interface for a new user, it should answer 3 critical questions for them. 1, where am I? 2, what I can do here? And 3, how I can move forward. Each word and element that is presented on the screen should earn its place and add clear value at that precise moment. And remember when I did and communicating that they'll help you get started once you sign up. So what Shopify did was they collected the information and didn't really use it for improving my onboarding experience. So this just erodes my trust inside the product, because now I just feel that they collected that information just for the sake of internal analytics and didn't really use it to improve my onboarding experience. Moving on, when I visit these different sections on the left hand side of the product, I see a lot of empty states like these. Users are less likely to take an action on their own until and unless they know what they are going to get out of it. My recommendation would be that Shopify should create a sandbox mode or populate the whole product with sample data for users to play around with and help them understand what this whole product might look like when their online store is live. And then later they can have a one-click option to get rid of all the sample and test data that they might have created initially to give their users a better onboarding experience. Chargebee and Freshworks do a great job at setting up a sandbox mode for the users, helping them feel confident about using their product and fast-tracking their journey to monetization. Imagine now I have completed setting up my online store. Now I am confident about buying the subscription for the product. The first thing that I notice is that pricing for these plans is being only compared on a monthly payment frequency, unlike other products which definitely give you two options of comparing plans on at least monthly or annual frequency. There's only a short paragraph describing different features which are available in each plan, and this makes it really difficult for me to compare them with each other. The only thing that I can compare in terms of numbers is credit card rates, staff accounts, shipping discount, and locations. Ideally, they should help me pick a plan based on the business related information that they collected from me during the sign up process. And I believe that credit card rates over here are only informational rather than being leveraged for the users to pick a higher plan, because there is really no way for me to decide based on these numbers to make a decision whether I want to go for basic Shopify or advanced Shopify. Also, for shipping discounts, you'll notice that it says good, better, and best. There is no way for me to quantify what that means. And if I scroll down to the bottom of the page, you'll notice that there is a link which takes me to another landing page. Now, this is where they have compared the features for each plan in a very elaborate manner. Now, two things: this did not open in a new tab, and second, I wonder why they did not replicate this exact thing inside the product, because the lesser links you have that takes user outside the product, the more leak proof your conversion funnel would be. Going back to the pricing page, once I select a plan, this is where I can choose a billing cycle. Now, this option could have been present on the previous screen, because then that would have enabled me to compare the prices of different plans for different payment frequencies. So I could have compared the price of basic Shopify with advanced Shopify on a 2-year billing cycle or on a 3-year billing cycle, and that would have just enhanced my decision making process. At the bottom of the screen, you'll notice that there is a very high chance that I'll click on the cancel button, because this is a more prominent call to action as compared to add credit card over here. But the only thing that distinguishes add credit card from these two lines is just a different shade of color. Add credit card should definitely be a more prominent CTA. And once I click on add credit card, this is where Shopify should ask me for my billing address and business address, as I mentioned earlier. It is now that I am ready to launch my online store and make a commitment. And finally, I don't know if you've noticed this or not, all the Shopify landing pages, marketing collateral is in different shades of green and yellow. But as soon as you land inside the product, it suddenly changes to different shades of purple and gray. And I see that there is a clear lack of brand coherence, and it is quite important to maintain that to build more trust and credibility with your customers. So if there is anything new that you have learned from this video, please subscribe to this channel and share it with anyone who you think might find this useful. And I'll see you all in the next one.